Okay, so I can see there is some lighting that I'll have to work on pretty soon, but we're gonna roll with what we got for now. So I'm live on my personal Facebook page, not the fan page. So I'm live on my Nicole Boo Facebook page, and I'm also live with you on my Instagram page, which is Nicole Graham. Drum roll. Are you ready for this? Because this is about to be like kind of crucial, and I'm saying something that's probably going to ruffle some feathers, and I'll explain it in a minute. Last time, since you can't see my title that I put on my Facebook page, it is, I'm scared to say it, it is that Dave Ramsey ruined my marriage. Obviously, he did not. He didn't. But the title says that Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University ruined my marriage. I will explain in just a second. So most of you guys on my personal Facebook page, you know who I am, but I want to introduce myself to you because I got a lot of new people on my personal page. So I'm a mompreneur. I am a divorced mother of 4. My children work. You can find them under the hashtag Coley's Kids. They have their own YouTube channel, and I'm a singer, I'm an actor, and I'm a new author. I have a magazine right now called The Brilliant Awakening, and I'm working on my first book. It'll be The Brilliant Awakening book. That's coming out early this year. I'm co-writing that with other authors, telling our stories, and I've decided after a couple of years of physical and emotional healing to tell my story as it pertains to what I endured when it came to domestic violence and physical abuse, emotional and verbal. And so I'll be very graphic for a purpose, because I want people to see what it looks like, from lots of different angles. So there's some information about that, about my story when it comes to that as well on my YouTube. So let's get right into it about how I say that Dave Ramsey and his Financial Peace University ruined my marriage, which of course it didn't. And actually, going through Financial Peace University, I was exposed to it by my godparents. Shout out to Ruth and Tom Kyle in Texas. I love you guys so much. They exposed me to Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University years and years ago. I say years and years. Yeah, like I think I was in my early 20s when they would kind of play in the background, and I would hear about the 7 baby steps and all that stuff. The first step, I think, is to save $1,000. Then there's another step to make sure you save up 6 months worth of income. They're all about basically not having the need for credit, which in this day and age, I know that's super irrational. And I'm not here to promote or say buy it. I'm not getting paid for any of that. I'm just here to tell my particular story and how it related to my last marriage. But I need to give you, I guess, some context. So they're very radical, and it pisses a lot of people off. And it definitely pissed off my former husband. Not the first one. I guess I'm collecting husbands like Elizabeth Taylor, husbands and diamonds. Not the first husband I love. So for the last marriage, it definitely pissed him off. And his name will not be uttered from these lips. And no shade. I'm just going to tell, my experience. So I remember we were in a space that was very unhealthy all around and just totally out of control. And long story short about it being out of control and unhealthy, I will say this. Plans fail for a lack of confidence and for a lack of knowledge and wisdom. Anyway, so toward the end of, the very quick end of what was not a wise decision, we went to, I was really, really insistent because at that time, I was really, 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 really strong in Christian values as a wife, because my first marriage had failed, and I just didn't want to feel like I didn't do everything that I could, as a Christian, as a Christian wife, to just make it work. So I remember begging, can we just please go to marital counseling? So we went to this place, and the place is actually amazing, so I will shout them out. There's a place in Oklahoma called What God Has Joined Ministries. They are amazing. They are real marriage family therapist people. They don't even know I'm doing this, but I guess I'll send it to them later. But they're real. They're not just a pastor and wife that's going to have a conversation and prayer with you about marriage, and they're not trained in it. Okay. But they're Christian based, and they were. So if you're a Christian and you're looking for something like that, they were great. They helped me have so much clarity. And going to marriage family therapy is not something that you do necessarily to try to keep everything together. It's something that you do to help just with getting clarity on direction And sometimes some things need to fall apart. And trust me, y'all, I'm trying not to cuss. That needed to fall apart. But anyway, one of the things that they suggested with what seemed like both of our efforts to try to keep things together and mend some things was getting our finances in order. As you guys know, this is a fact. Marriage is like one of the biggest causes for divorce. Well, yes, marriage is one of the biggest causes for divorce. That was a Freudian slip. Money! Issues of money and the lack thereof, and also the lack of control with whatever money you have. You know, that causes a lot of issues. So that was one of the many issues that we had, was no discipline when it comes to finances. And so a couple that was a pastor of a church that also did financial planning, and they were entrepreneurs and financially successful, so they were definitely certified to teach about money. They gifted us. I don't remember. I think I reached out to them. I was friends with one of them. Yes, Michael and Faye Kozart. I don't know where they are now, but shout out to the Kozarts and their ministry that they had in Oklahoma and their business. Faye is awesome at writing grants and stuff, and so I guess I'll send this to her or tag her if I can. We've all moved around, so I don't know where they're at. So anyway, they were teachers for Financial Peace University, and I think it was like $150 or $200 or something like that per couple. And obviously we were having money problems, and I hate to say it, like we couldn't even like scrounge up like a couple 50s to pay for it. And I, reached out to them and was like, I would really like for us to come and be a part of this. And I asked him, if he agreed. He grudgingly agreed to go and be a part of Financial Peace University. So we went together. And, when you get close to that fire, what happens when you're trying to build or rebuild something? Somebody else can type what this scriptural reference is, because I don't remember. But there's like this Bible story, and it probably is a story that you can find everywhere, not just even in the Bible. But I remember God was telling people that were building or rebuilding something that one of the first things you need to do before you put together your structure is all that firewood. You need to take it, not firewood, all that wood and the materials that you're going to use to build the house, you need to put it over some fire first. Sounds kind of crazy, huh? But the reason why is because when you throw it on that fire, the snakes are going to come out. It's going to drive out the snakes and all that other stuff. So basically, it's going to expose any elements that don't need to be in that structure. And let me tell you, baby, when we went to Financial Peace University, almost from the beginning, it put us over the fire. So it's either going to you're either going to withstand the pressure and come out as diamonds, or it's going to burn you the hell up. So we went opposite ways from there. One of the first suggestions that we got going through the baby steps, he was very, very hesitant, even with the first one, which is to save $1,000. And saving $1,000, that's nothing. You can do it kind of quick. A couple sacrifices on the income that we were on. It was going to cause, a couple of sacrifices. But it's just $1,000. Just $1,000. It's just one stack. That's the first thing. So there was resistance even from the first thing. I was all in because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I was willing to do whatever it took to, first of all, being broke and bougie ain't fun. Okay, I'm bougie, so I can't do the broke thing. So I was willing to do whatever it takes to radically improve our finances, our home, our marriage, just everything, our life. And but when you're on this end and then the other person's on the polar opposite, it's going to fall apart. And that's basically what happened. So one of the first things that the teachers of Financial Peace University suggested that we do, real life's about to happen. Close the door, honey.
I need you for something.
Okay, go back to bed. I'm going to tuck you in a minute.
I was going to say if I can make a s'more.
No, it's too late for that.
Not inside the microwave.
No, ma'am. Go back to bed. Close my door, please. Real life in 5, 4, 3, 2. Close my door. Bye-bye.
We're closing your door.
No, get out of my room and close the door. Aw, yeah, let me say bye. So anyway, this is a good time to say that I'm going to take both of these, Instagram, and Facebook. Facebook, did she just slam my door? Yes, she did. And I'm going to deal with that after this. Yeah. But I'm going to take both of these in the next, sometime over the next week. Whenever I go live, if it's something that I want to keep, and this definitely is, then that's where you can always find like the edited final content. And that's where you can find other cool stuff too. So that's youtube.com/. So what was it? Oh, so we got advice. One of the first major pieces of advice, and it was very radical, that we got was to sell the car. Our finances were strapped. We had just had another baby. We had children from other marriages as well. He was still paying child support for his oldest, who she is now in college, and so he doesn't have to anymore. Because of health reasons and everything I went through with that pregnancy, and then two, I don't know if you guys know, the cost of daycare at the time, in order for me to go and get a full-time job, I was going to be giving the majority of that paycheck to daycare. There was no point. There was no point in that whatsoever. Like, I wasn't doing it. I'm not going to work to give all of my paycheck to daycare. Stupid. So obviously I was still singing, I was still performing and acting, so I was bringing in some income from that. But when it came to the major support of the household, that was on him, which I'm a traditional person. I don't believe in that whole being your roommate. I'm your wife. So, and this is something that we went into premarital counseling and we discussed when it came to expectations, So if you did not want to financially carry, the household. But anyway, that's another conversation for another day. So we had lots of conversations, discord, after we got into everything, and that was also. So they were talking about some things we could do to help alleviate some of the financial stress, especially with the brand new baby and blah blah blah. And they said this car, which I did not know. I didn't know. So shame on me for not doing my due diligence and going all the way through his finances and vice versa. But the car, the APR was so high. It was, I think, like beyond 20%. It was so high, and that car payment was so high. To have this car that I guess all the police officers in that area have, this really cool car, which really wasn't even fitting for a family, y'all. So they said sell the car and offer a certain amount to the bank to pay the car off. And when you're done doing that, whatever money is left over, use that to buy a car in cash. That would have put several hundreds back into our monthly budget that we could use for debt elimination, for, being able to breathe and being able to do other things. And I know I'm trying to give a good example of how this works. I actually did it one time before I even knew who Dave Ramsey was. And this was way, way earlier. This is earlier in life during my first marriage. I remember we were kind of close to paying off the car. And I'll just give an example. Let's say we had like $10,000 left on it. And I'm an out the box thinker, and I just think of stuff and I just ask. I always have really big asks. Let me say that right. I have really big asks. ASKS. Because somebody sent me a video. Because I just have big dreams and stuff, and I'm bold. I'm bold with what I ask for, and it pisses people off sometimes. But it works out when I'm brave enough to do it. So back in the day, I remember calling Chase Bank and being like, so, check it. I'm sick of this car note. I don't like bills and I don't like debt. We owe you 10, but I'm going to give you 7 right now. If I give you 7, will you promise to go ahead and give me this title and we can be done with you? Because I want to break up with you. I hate bills and debt. Like, that's just how I roll. And I remember a little bit of back, it was silent. So I was thinking, oh shoot. It was silent. And I think the person negotiated a little bit more, but it happened and I did that. And I got us out that car loan and got the papers to the car by just asking. So I know that I knew, so it wasn't unfamiliar to me when the couple said, hey, this is something you guys can do to put some money back into your budget and also eliminate a lot of debt. And let's work on your credit. But that really, really pissed him off. He was very emotionally attached to that car and other things, and that stuff was more important to him than doing whatever it took to make sure that our family had the proper financial covering. So I think after the second or maybe even the third class, and him hearing all these radical ideas and things that you should do, you know, that cash is king, basically that, you know, you don't, of course, I guess cleaning up your credit has its place if that's, you know, how you want to live. But it really pissed him off, these radical ideas about, you know, family and the Christian value thing, but mostly things that they were telling us to do financially to put us back into financial peace. And so obviously it caused some arguments and things like that. And I remember after the second class, he was like, maybe the third, but I'm pretty sure the second. He said, I'm not coming back to this. So you can find your own way. I'm not coming back. And you can't take the car. I kid you not. So I remember calling some of the other ladies and saying to them, hey, like, he's quitting. I don't have a way to get back to class. And some of the other ladies came and they picked me up every week and brought me in. And, you know, the materials, the CDs, the books, all that stuff, it was gifted to us. So I kept all of that. And I'm happy to say I completed that course. And completing that course, although that was one of the final nails in the coffin for our marriage, because it just showed, to me, it was a huge sign of just non-committal to really just do it and not feel like to do the right thing. And there were other things, obviously, but that was one of the major things right there. So obviously that class didn't ruin our marriage, but it definitely helped to give me some clarity on things. But let me tell you, going and getting a ride every week to get back to that class, figuring out who was going to keep my children while I went to the class, a lot of times bringing them with me, finishing and graduating from Financial Peace University, it equipped me with a lot of financial tools and sense that I was going to need over those next couple of years to get through and get by as a single mother with 3 children, and then 4 because we wound up having another one before we got divorced. Some poo nanny foolery, y'all. But I love my baby boy. But anyway, it helped me to really figure out how to, and it taught me some things. It taught me that it really is not about making more money. Because you guys, if you saw some of the amounts of money that I made and didn't make over the past several years, the only way that I was able to survive is without child support and wholeheartedly pursuing my goals, my career, my passion and everything, but also still having to practically take care of my children, take care of a home, have a vehicle, blah, blah, blah. It was the tools that I learned in Financial Peace University that helped me to keep it together. It was still very difficult, but it helped me to have the discipline with, you know, having like an agency, a couple of checks from a talent agency that I've got to figure out. How am I going to stretch this out to buy this and to buy that over the next couple of months? Because I don't know when I'm going to get the next check. And then, you know, obviously I needed to pick up some temp jobs here and there. And I did. And you do what you, I messed up my Instagram. And you do what you got to do. But, you know, that helped me it changed my mindset about, you know, doing stupid things with your finances to impress people. Why? Do I want to impress you? You know, spending, which for me, it would have been spending $500 and $600 on an Audi or something a month. Or do I want that $600 to stay into my, you know, monthly budget so I can take my kids to Disney instead? You know, impress you or go on a trip. Impress you or pay my bills up for the next 6 months. Hello. And it just helped me to have I think a fresher approach to finances, to credit, to not rely on trying to get a bunch of stupid stuff on credit and being in debt till I die. I actually want to leave some things to my children and not just debt. I don't want my kids to have to take up a freaking GoFundMe and do fish fries because mommy's dead and she left us all these bills. So that class, and again, I don't get any money for you going, so I'm not telling you to take it. I just wanted to share my experience with that. Hi, Tanya P. Johnson. Hi, Kenya. All these hands are popping up. So let me wave back to the people on Instagram. Downtown Melissa Brown, LaSalle, Michael Hubbard. So that's pretty much it. My story time is over.